Hey, how's it going? I figured that since it's been about 2.5 years since I last posted an update video to the channel, which is absolutely wild to think about, it feels like yesterday and we've passed 100,000 subs since then, it'd probably be good to let you all know where things are at. I've still got a couple more videos coming before the end of the year, but looking back on it, 2019, well, it's hard to articulate because it's been an immensely stressful year at times for sure. There have definitely been questions of, can I keep doing this? But looking back on it all from the tail end, I feel like I've started to move in a much more positive direction with everything, both creatively and personally. I've made some changes to my workflow so that my entire life isn't being consumed by the videos, and honestly, I think that this year has spawned a lot of the work I'm most proud of in my now almost half-decade doing this. And when I think about why that is, I guess it largely comes from a growing desire to move away from anything too algorithm related. You can pursue that stuff as much as you want, but just going by my own experience, you know, I made that Star Citizen video earlier this year based solely on personal curiosity. I certainly did not expect it to become the second most popular video on the channel. Similarly, there have been videos where the viewership expectations aren't met. It never matters because, as I say, I'm proud of the work. It's just evidence of the fact that, for me anyway, it's almost impossible to accurately predict what will hit versus what won't, so it seems pretty pointless to burn yourself out ruthlessly chasing down this algorithmic beast that ultimately we know very little about. I still cover more recent titles, of course, but usually my pieces hit at least a good fortnight or so after people have stopped talking about them, so it's really just down to the fact that I like playing and talking about more recent stuff sometimes. I've also been able to spend a whole lot of time talking about various Yakuza titles or writing about the most generic looking or broken games and talk about the things that make them weird or unintentionally interesting. Stuff that if I was mandated to adhere to the whims of the algorithm wouldn't be possible. It's all coming from that hope that people might be able to find something to like about the videos even if they have no interest in playing the games being covered. And it's all led to me developing this mindset where, perhaps counter to the way YouTube is supposed to work, what the platform drills into you, I'm really not interested in growing the channel in the traditional sense. I'm not bothered about getting 1 million subs or views on every video or whatever. I'm not equipped to be a personality like that. I just like doing what I'm doing. I like the fact that this is still a pretty niche area of video creation. And again, above all else, I just care about whether or not the work is good. That feels like a healthy, freeing way to live my life, trying to focus as little on the analytics and all that other stuff as possible. But I'm not gonna lie, it's also been difficult balancing that mindset with the fact that, as I outlined in the dangerous driving video earlier this year, personal growth and YouTube sustainability are two very different things, it would seem. By keeping just a bit of distance and focusing more on trying to find an effective work-life balance so I'm not spending 60 hours a week on video work as I was before, it does become a lot harder to maintain the necessary numbers to keep things ticking over. And it sucks because I really hate talking about money. It's why I made the previous update videos private. But while no one is doing this to become rich by any means, you know, this stuff still takes a lot of time and work, and well, I've got to eat at the end of the day. And with that in mind, I can't tell you how much the sponsorships over the last few months have helped. They came at just the right time. I know some people find them irritating, that they feel it breaks up the content or people are selling out, but please just know that they've been a big part of allowing me to keep going. It's the same with every other creator I've spoken to doing sponsorships in this sphere. No one likes doing them, they're just grateful for the support and doing what they want to do. It's an unfortunate reality of the platform at this point that in order to provide you high quality videos for free, people need to find ways to keep the lights on. Which, as is seemingly the case with every update video ever made, brings me on to the Patreon. Because I'm barely active on social media anymore, it's pretty hard to emphasize just how important the Patreon is to keeping things going, outside of a brief mention at the end of videos. But while the sponsorships have definitely helped, I know for a fact that without the unbelievably generous support of my patrons, there is absolutely no way I would ever be able to justify the amount of time I continue to put into the channel. I honestly cannot believe that despite all the stress and sleepless nights I've had working away at this stuff, I've been fortunate enough to get to do this for as long as I have, and thanks to your support, I've been able to focus on it exclusively. Your pledges have directly impacted not only the quality of the work I've been able to produce, but it's also created this cool paradigm where it doesn't really matter whether a video gets 1 million views or 300. As long as I'm producing something I feel is worthwhile, and that group of people on Patreon is happy, that's really the bottom line of all this. Your support keeps this channel going. It also opens up possibilities for growth that don't amount to hitting some arbitrary subscriber number or whatever, where one day, for example, I may be able to hire a video editor to improve presentation further and allow me to focus more on ensuring the writing is as good as it can be. To be clear, it's the Patreon that makes these things a possibility. It's you guys, and I will never be able to convey how utterly grateful I am for that fact. But it also doesn't feel good then if you're already paying to directly support the channel to push an ad in front of you in the middle of a video. And that's why, for the last couple of months, anyone who pledges to the Patreon gets access to a separate upload via the private feed that's entirely without ads or sponsors of any kind. If you can't afford to pledge, that's totally cool. I'm just thankful you're watching. Your patience with the ad reads is appreciated. But if you want to put in $1 or anything else, you're essentially subscribing to an ad-free version of the channel, which, I don't know, that seems kind of fair to me. And it's not just sponsor-free videos you'll be receiving. I've also been getting back into the act of writing articles again, and the results of this will be going up on the Patreon feed exclusively for patrons of any level. It's been really fun experimenting with pieces that might not fit the general tone of the channel, or that might not be about games or anything like that. As of the publishing of this video, I've got a couple that are almost ready to go out. It's early days, but I want to ensure that going into 2020, on top of the regular rewards like early access, your name in the credits, and downloads for the soundtracks I make, which is something I'm noticing a lot of people ask about recently, that you're getting as much bang for your buck as I can provide, as one person running this whole thing, of course. Also, I've said it before, but even if you think that the $1 or $2 you could afford to pledge wouldn't make any difference, there's a reason I include everyone in the end credits regardless of pledge level. A low amount that someone feels they can sustain is 100% the bedrock of any viable campaign. Creators love you guys. So yeah, please, if you've enjoyed the work I've created over the last however many years and want to help it continue, I would really appreciate it if you considered supporting the show directly. And to reiterate, if you can't afford to pledge, please don't feel bad. The last thing I would ever want is someone pledging outside of what they're comfortable with. If you just don't want to pledge to me, that's cool too. Maybe just look at other creators you would think about supporting and find their Patreon or merch store and help them out a little bit. There's a lot of people out there who are totally worth your time and money, and YouTube isn't exactly a stable platform right now. I guarantee you those people would greatly appreciate your support. Of course, I'm realistic about this. I'll be okay. It's nothing to worry about. I'd just like to keep making the videos I want to make, and that a lot of you guys have expressed you want to keep seeing. There are a couple of other things to talk about as well that aren't about money, hooray! One thing in particular I'd like to draw people's attention to is the podcast I do with my friend Neko, which you might not know about given how I basically never mention it outside of the word podcast plastered on screen at the end of every video. We've been doing the Writing on Gamescast for over 3 years now, and while it's been difficult to maintain a consistent release schedule, as we're both incredibly busy with other stuff, that's something I think we're both keen to sort out in the new year. We'll be focusing on it a lot more, because it's honestly such a valuable release from the stress of making videos to just be able to chat shit and laugh with your pal for a few hours every couple of weeks. It's definitely a far less formal, more personal and humorous vibe than the videos, but the discussions we have there do end up shaping arguments I go on to make on this channel, so hey, if you're interested, maybe check it out. I've also talked about it before, but I would like to get into streaming again at some point. I think the last time I streamed was at the start of the year, but I always enjoy it when I do it. I still need to figure out whether I want to stream on here where my audience is, or get back into using my inactive Twitch channel. I'll keep you posted either way, and I'll at least try to get one stream sorted out before the end of the year. And also, I will get around to finishing that Mafia II playthrough I started on the second channel 2 years ago now. Jesus, I will finish it, I promise. It's just that game is way harder to make an interesting playthrough out of than I perhaps once thought. I will get into kind of bigger Let's Play stuff at some point, but just I need to get this out of the way. This has been the anchor around my neck for too long now. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at with everything. Once again, I cannot thank you enough for sticking with me through all the stresses, and even though I don't have the time to respond to everything nowadays, your messages of support have helped an enormous degree in perking me up when I needed it most. So whatever way you choose to support the channel, whether on Patreon or just by watching, sincerely thank you. You have changed my life for the better, and as I've always said, hopefully my videos can one day mean a fraction as much to you as your support has meant to me. And with that, I'm away to work on the next couple of videos. Thanks a bunch. See you later.